Shalom. Shalom. Okay, Khan. Kahalam La. Yahweh Bashmel Shah, Wahawa Kakodash, double honors to the hopefully elect elder apostles. It's late to be saved. Lord willing, start with those at the GMS church on down to the rest that may be out here abiding under the same doctrine. Onward, Shalom, onward to the brothers here in the order, giving all diligence, teaching, in the order, in all true faith and sincerity, and onward to the rest of the, Akim doing likewise. You elder Akim, on down to younger Akim, teaching. Shalom, and to the rest of you believers as well. And on this faith also of Yahweh Bashmiel Shai, you women, children, and men of the Israelite race, okay? Ultimately to the elect, Shalom, whoever they may go on to be. Of us, hopefully, like. So, back again with another, it's really less about the whole series title. It's more so just some edification going into this the first and second covenant. Pretty much it was asked about, and Lord permitted, allow for me to go into it and speak on it. So I have some things queued up going into it, and it's a very beautiful thing, which is the situation and reality for us Hebrew Israelites, okay? Whether, all of us know it or not. That's what the first and second covenant is. It's a beautiful situation for us, okay? It's an amazing fate. It's amazing fate. But to say the least, let's go ahead and get into it. So this is I'm gonna be reading in the book of Hebrews real quick in the 8th chapter in the 13th verse, and it reads what? It says, and that Salaki, bear with me just a moment. Shalom out. If the music too loud, Bible Shah, just let me know. Okay, so getting into this, Hebrews 13, make sure I click mute on mute. Hebrews 13, 8 and 13. And that he said, a new covenant he had made the first old. Now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away. So let me read it again. And that he said, a new covenant he hath made the first old. And now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to perish. So this is going into the first covenant, which is the old, according to this, and as we know, and the second, which is the new. Okay, Salakia. All right. So anyway, getting into this, it says, so that's what it is, right? Now let's find out what it is. Just keeping it simple. Okay, this is Genesis 15. We're gonna start with I should actually start with the 17th chapter, but this is the first covenant. Okay, this is the making of the first covenant, and somewhat of what it's dealing with. Uh, this is headed what Abraham promised the seed. So when you jump down, it says, I'll actually come back to that, Lord will. Okay, this is verse 18. It says, in the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram, this is important to know because Abram was the first, he was the only person that the Lord had dealt with, post the flood, right? So anyway, in the same day, the Lord Yahweh made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Okay, and that's all of this. It's all of these portions. Okay, uh, which these people was living in. These people was comprised. They all had a portion of was ultimately today the land of Israel. Okay, and that's what the covenant will be. That's what will be a part of having this covenant, this land. And he said this covenant will be made with Abraham. Okay, this is the initiation or the start of the first covenant. Okay, which is said to extend, which is basically it consists of his seed. The deal, another word for covenant, is or the meaning of covenant is a deal. And the deal consisted of what? His seed, Abram's seed, being given the land. And we read this chapter to kick it off. Abraham, he didn't have a seed. Okay, he didn't have a seed. But anyway, that's why it's titled Abram promised the seed. Okay, because he was concerned with who he would leave his inheritance to. So he didn't, at the time, he was concerned because he didn't have a seed to leave his inheritance to. But little did he know the Lord would actually give him a seed at 99, or he would tell him about it at 99, and he would have more to even as an inheritance to give his seed on top of that. Okay, so this is Genesis 17, and I'm gonna start at 1. So as you see, the first covenant. Now we're gonna deal with the first covenant in its entirety, which is a deal made by the Most High with Abram. That's the first covenant, right? Which, upon a deal being made, it consisted of the Lord's favorite land, right? The Lord's favorite land. You know what? I should get that. I think that's in the book of Sirach, the 5th chapter. I want to say that is. That's why I have to go into it like this because like I said, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful it's actually our situation. Or is that the book of Wisdom of Solomon? I believe that's Solomon. Let me grab it real quick. Wisdom of Solomon in the 5th chapter and the 20 or the 18th verse. Let me see. The one where I can get that. I'll pull it up on the screen when I get it. Bear with me. Second Ezra 5. Yeah, kind of. Second Ezra 5. Dwadi Habashmi Al-Shah. Okay. So let's pull that up. Let's pull that up. So this is by the Spirit. I didn't have this in mind to go here. Okay, this is second Ezra in the 5th chapter. Okay, because it's important. Like he made that covenant, hence that deal made by the Most High with Abraham consisted of Abraham's seed getting this land. Now, what land was it? It was the land that the Most High had chosen that was being inhabited by the heathens already. But the reason why the Lord did that is because we would have basically inherited a land without having to do any labor. It was already built up, which is exactly what the second covenant is going to, have set up for us again. So we inherited a land with no labor. But anyway, this is second Ezra 5 and 24. It says, I'm going to start with 22. And my soul recovered the spirit of understanding, and I began to talk with the Most High again and said, yeah, because we are duplicates of Abraham, really in the spirit. It says, and said, O Lord, that bears rule of every wood of the earth and of all the trees thereof. Thou hast chosen thee only one vine, and of all the lands, Slaki, and of all lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit. And that one land was what? Israel, which was formerly known as what? The land of Canaan, which really was the Garden of Eden. Okay, and of all the flowers thereof, one lily. Okay, so that's that. So we go back here to Genesis. That's why that's important to understand. All right, to say the least. Well, that's why the Lord did that. I'll put it like that. Okay, let me plug this up real quick. It's the computer. All right, back to it. So Abraham will make a deal with the Most High, and that deal, hence the first covenant, would consist of Abraham's seed, which will be a way for the Lord to go ahead and give Abraham a seed, would inherit it, right? And not only that will make way for him to have a seed, right? A son to give an inheritance to, that would also give him a way to give his son a true inheritance, an even greater inheritance, which is that land, that holy land, that chosen land, that pit of the Most High, which was in antiquity, in all reality, the Garden of Eden. So this is Genesis 17, and this is now dealing with it in its totality, right? Abraham in the covenant of circumcision. Okay, let's get it in context. Verse 1, and when Abraham was 90 years old and 9, the Lord Yahweh appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God. I am the Almighty God, power. Walk before me and be thou perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. So that's the spirit, because I said we're in the spirit, we really Abraham's all over again. Because he said he's going to multiply Abraham. So we're duplicates of Abraham. Okay. So that's why it's spiritual when he said, I talk with the Most High again. Well, the first person to talk with the Most High post-flood was Abram, right? Obviously, you have Melchizedek, which is Yahweh Shah, but that's a whole nother thing. But it said what? Verse 3, and Abram fell on his face, and the Most High talked with him, saying, and that's another depth to the importance and the beauty of these covenants. And in this instance, this first one we're going into is because the history of it is when our forefather talked with the Most High. They actually talked. They made a deal. Like, that's powerful. But it says, as for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. And his name was Abram at the time, right? But jumping to the point, okay, verse 7, it says, you know, you see what that covenant consisted of, you know, because I'll put it like this too. That seed would that one seed would it would split. You know what I'm saying? Like, in many ways, it was split. It would become many. You know, so that's how the Lord just really blew Abraham away. You know, he had went from no seeds to being a father of many nations. That's all these Israelites you can't count to this day, right? So now it makes sense why the Lord would make this deal with him and set up his seed to receive such a beautiful land, a beautiful inheritance, because there would be so many of them. You know, that's why the land is flowing with milk and honey, you know, and etc. And then it branches out from there on top of that. But it says what? And that will, when you read 6, it says, and I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make the nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. So, I don't know how I want to word it. This really going outside my point, but just to magnify the beauty of it, like I was saying, pretty much the deal makes a way for really us to be kings. You know what I'm saying? Like, if once his seed would come forth, like, they would have to become kings. You know, that's just a part of it. You know, I'm just throwing that out there. But let's get to the point. Verse 7, and I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee in their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee. See, to be a God, a power unto thee and to thy seed after thee. Yeah. And we're going to get exactly who that seed was when you read down in verse 8. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. So Abram will be given complete property, like the land, the Garden of Eden will be his. Israel will be his. And it's his seeds after his. Like, we have a home, like we have a perpetual land that's ours, and it's the chosen land. It's the best land of the earth. Period. And the Most High said unto Abram, thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. Okay, and then you go into what that covenant is. This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised. So that's what it was. And that was a token of what it go on to say. And ye shall circumcise the flesh, because it was a purpose for them doing it. It was to represent a sign. And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you, showing basically who the Father is with, because obviously nobody on earth was doing this. You see what I'm saying? So that was like a mark, if you will. You know, it was a mark. All right, and it's beautiful too, because it's a lot of health benefits behind it. You know, but anyway, it's a science to why the Lord had that happen. But anyway, it says, and he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations, he that is born in the house or bought with money of any stranger which is not of thy seed. So we're gonna jump down to the point. This is a good one too. I gotta get this. It says, verse 13, he that is born in thy house and he that is bought with thy money must needs be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. So there it is. So once that's a signal, okay, these are the Most High's people. We're the people of the Most High. It actually had a benefit to it, on a health tip, as well. And it's it's a way for us, for that covenant to be everlasting. And it's dealing with circumcision. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the word circumcision, and it says, and the uncircumcised man, meaning the one that don't do this, right, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant. So this is what the first covenant was. It was a deal made by the Most High with Abram that came with a land, a promise of the Lord's chosen land being given to his seed, and making a way for Abraham to have a seed, but also the Lord making a way for that seed to become abundant, that the Lord, not only him giving him a seed, but making a way for Abraham to have more than one seed, to where so many seeds to the point he's literally called the father of many nations. Abraham means exalted father. You know what I'm saying? But that's what the deal did. It came with a land and a way for a bunch of little duplicates of him to be able to be brought forth, and inherit that land. And another part of it was they were said to be kings, So soon as that Abraham's seed will come forth, that chosen seed, because we're going to get who that seed is according to the scriptures, which we know is us. When that seed will come forth, it will make with that covenant being there, that deal, that perpetual covenant, that perpetual deal being there. And the way to keep that deal being acted upon, it will make way for us, for that seed, which turned into many, of the same seed. That's still one seed. Is a bunch of them. So it's a high quantities of his one seed, right? It will make way for those people to become, kings, royalty, man. That's it. All off the first covenant. That's how the first covenant was. That's really what it is, and the way to activate it is and signify it is the circumcision of the flesh. Okay. Now you jump down to verse 19. It says I'm gonna start at 18. And Abram said unto God, "Oh, that Ishmael might live before thee." And the Most High said, "Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him." See that? So the covenant that was made with Abram by the Most High was said to go to Isaac, who is Abram's second son. And as for Ishmael, next verse 20, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him and will make him fruitful and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year. See, and he left off from talking with him, and the powers went up from Abram. So there it is. So that covenant went Abraham, Isaac. It didn't go Abraham, Ishmael. Now Ishmael was around, and he ended up getting circumcised, and his mother, which is how they kept hold of. They kept a little portion of the, as they call it, Abrahamic, Abrahamic, or Abrahamic, Abrahamic. I don't want to butcher it. Let's see. Are you here? I know I butchered that. But anyway. Salakian. Abrahamic. Abrahamic. Okay. So I probably didn't butcher it that bad. But anyway. Abrahamic. So yeah, so they kept a little portion of the Abrahamic or Abrahamic way, which is that circumcision, you know, and basically it, man. And, food. So yeah, that's about it. But yeah, the covenant, that deal with and everything it would come with wouldn't be able to be acted upon by, or wouldn't be given to and continue with Ishmael, but Isaac, given to him and his seed after him, and continue with Isaac and his seed after him. Period. And that seed went on to be who? Jacob. Okay. Now we gonna just keep going. This is Psalms 105:1. It says, "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord Yahweh, call upon his name, make known his deeds among the people, sing unto him." It says, "Sing unto him sing songs unto him, talk ye of all his wondrous works." Jumping to the point, it says what? I'm gonna start at 5. It says, "Remember his marvelous works that he hath done, his wonders and the judgments of his mouth." Right, all the things he decided, everything he said he's supposed to be in certain situations, how he's supposed to move. But anyway, what he did in certain situations, how he moved. Verse 6, "O ye seed of Abraham," this is that seed. "Ye children of Jacob, his chosen." It's that simple. He is the Lord our God. His judgments are in all the earth. See? And there it is. He hath remembered his covenant forever, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations, which covenant he made with Abraham, and his oath unto Isaac, and confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law, and to Israel an everlasting covenant, saying, "Unto thee will I give the land of Canaan," Israel, which is the Garden of Eden. See that? The paradise of the earth, the lot of your inheritance. So there it is, man. We're the Lord's anointed, man. We're the chosen one. So that's it. So that's who the seed is. Okay, now moving forward, a new covenant. So that's the first. That's just simply put, that's the first covenant, and what came with it and how it is acted upon. Now, obviously, it makes sense why, if we the people, we don't have it, because we're not doing that. You got people that's not even circumcised. They weren't even born knowing they was Israelites, so how could they do that? And a beautiful thing, another heavy thing that came with all of that is what? Let's get it. Hits me in the head. And I'm gonna just stay with what I got, okay? But this is where the second covenant comes in. Because of that, it was all set up. A new covenant. So we're gonna go into the second covenant. They say a new covenant. So recap, the new covenant is what? Land, kings, a bunch of us. And having that same relationship that extended to the seed of Abraham, to us. So basically which was what? Being able to conversate with the Lord. Having the Lord as our power, as the Lord told Abraham. He said, "I'm gonna be your power." He said, "I'm gonna be your power. I'm gonna be your God, and I'm gonna be their God." You see that? So I'm gonna be your God, man. Where is it at? I mean, we know. Okay. It's in one of those chapters. But anyway, so boom. And he confirmed that unto us. So that's the beauty of it, man. We're the only people the Lord actually talk to and make deals with, or has a deal with, because it's done. He made a deal to where he don't have to make any more deals, right? Well, you would be like, well, what's the new covenant about then? You'll see in just a second. It's the same deal, a new covenant. So let's go into the second covenant. Why? Because the Lord knew he wasn't gonna be able to keep that first covenant. And the way he set the first covenant up is more details into it, which you're going to see by going into the second covenant. Well, really, you can go more into the first covenant, and it tells you, which we're going to get as we go on. But you will see a new covenant, Jeremiah 31, Lord will, and 21. Behold, the days come, said the Lord, that I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah, which is the northern kingdom, so-called Native American Indians and Latinos, and the house of Judah being the southern kingdom, so-called Negroes, West Indians. Okay, it says with the seed of man and with the seed of beast. It says, and it shall come to pass that like as I have watched over them to pluck up and to break down, see, and to throw down and to destroy and to afflict, so will I watch over them to build and to plant, saith the Lord. Now, if you paying attention, it's that's a contrast right there. It's two different styles. See that? So the first dealt with what? Him just plucking us up. And that's literally what it resulted in. Us having that first covenant literally resulted in us being plucked up, broke down, threw down, destroyed, and afflicted. And we still dealing with it now. But he said, and so will I watch over them to build. And he watched over us to do that. And the Lord don't do a new thing. So the two covenants was already made. But when that first one was made, you will see in just a second. It says what? So will I watch over them to build and to plant, saith the Lord. So don't you think this would be a new thing if the Lord didn't tell Abram this? So obviously he would have to tell Abram all of this, which he did. He told him this, Now, moving on, it says, so we dealing with the first covenant right now. He watched over us to do that. That's what the first covenant was about. And he had the second one already on deck, which is clearly the case because he said, so will I watch over them to build and to plant, saith the Lord, which is going to be us being built back up, planted back in our land, built new bodies, all type of stuff, under the new covenant. And the first covenant was literally us being destroyed, broke down bodies, disease, plagues, afflicted, put in slavery, all of that. Shown wickedness, learned wickedness, really just perfecting us. And then we get to the second covenant, we're going to be complete. We're going to be complete. It's going to be about complete righteousness. But anyway, in those days, they shall say no more. The fathers have eaten a sour grape, and the children's teeth are set on edge. It says, but everyone shall die. Yeah. So we basically, let me read it again. In those days shall no more, shall they, in those days when we in the days of the new covenant, it says they shall say no more, the fathers have eaten a sour grape and the children's teeth are set on edge. So we're not going to pick up on what they did ain't going to destroy us, period. The things they was into, we ain't going to have to be subject to that. But it says, but everyone shall die for his own iniquity. Every man that eateth the sour grape, his teeth shall be set on edge. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, And you can understand this being the 2/3 situation, because we always got judged as a nation, but this time the Lord is going to do what? He's going to, and he always did that. He always kept a remnant. So this time, pretty much, we're not going to go down with the rest of these niggas no more, man. You know, it's not going to happen, because we really all paid this time for what Jake did when your house was delivered up. We all went into slavery. The Southern Kingdom went into slavery for that, really. We all went off, but, you know, that's like, you know. And then Jake still ain't done getting whooped for that. Like, how, that's why I say when he come back, he gonna see everybody. Every y'all gonna see him, and even they're pierced him. So the beef not over with that. Like the payback ain't done. But anyway, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. This is dealing with the second covenant. This is the second part. Period. The Lord is going to make a new deal with, if you will, with the so-called Latinos and Native American Indians and Negroes and so-called West Indians. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, saith the Lord. Right. So the first covenant we broke. The first covenant is it so-called got us cut off. You know, in a sense, it really did get us cut off, because the Lord said He's going to cut His soul off. He was going to cut our soul off. He really did that. You know, so it makes sense why the Lord in this new covenant is still going to be able to deal with us and not, you know, break His own word or go against His own word or look like a hypocrite, because He said He's going to give us new bodies. He's going to give us a new spirit. It's going to go on and say, but this shall be the covenant. So that's a whole new people. So pretty much that's like Him cutting off the soul. You see that? He cutting off the old. He cutting off like the old. These bodies gonna go. He gonna give us a new spirit, a new mind. He gonna give us everything. He gonna cut all that shit off based off what it did, which is not keep the first covenant. See? It says, but this shall be the covenant that I will make so everything the Lord do is so He could do something else. Like, that's heavy. Like, He had Abram not have kids just so He could give them, you know. He had Abram not have a land. He was in the land of Mesopotamia, right? Which I believe is South Mesopotamia. Okay. Which is, that place really existed. It was an ancient civilization. Like they say that was the first civilization, and that's what you'll hear about them talking about. Like, if you ever seen the movie the fourth Khan, I think it's called. They talk about the Sumerian civilizations and stuff like that, which they say is the first people, but that ain't true. You know, because all these people post-flood anyway, so that don't even make sense. But that's where Abram was at first, and then he was told to leave, and he ended up not having a home. It was just so the Lord can give him something, you know? Like, if you want the Lord to build you up, like, the best way for that to happen is to be broken down. So He always do something to just do something else. Like that, it's, you know, Lord's the ultimate chess player, man. So I'm gonna cut you off if you don't keep my first covenant. But it was just to make us gods. It was just to give us new bodies. It was just to get cut. I'm gonna cut your soul off. It was just to give us a new life. That's what soul is synonymous with in spirit. This is to put a new spirit within us. They're going to say it. But anyway, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, once He's done, when we completely have failed at the first covenant, after first covenant, and the Lord will watch and ensure that He wanted that to happen, because when you go back up, He said He was gonna what? He said, as I have watched in the 28th verse, and it shall come to pass that like as I have watched over them to pluck up and to break down and to throw down and to destroy and to afflict, so will I watch over them to build and to plant, saith the Lord. See? So it's beautiful. And what he mean by watch over, he intentionally did this to us. Let's get a quick scripture proving that. Look, conquest of Egypt predicted. So let's jump down to 44, and I want to say 21, I think that is. It says, 27. It says what? Behold, I will watch over them for evil and not for good. And all the men of Judah that are in the land of Egypt shall be consumed by the sword and by the famine until there be an end of them. So he meaning, because it said it's not. It said the scriptures say it's not in man to direct his steps. You know. See, when you read in the NLT, for I will watch over you to bring you disaster and not good. So when they say the Lord is watching, he said, I'll watch over you. It's like when they, people, Jake be like, man, praying to going the hell off, praying that, the angels to watch over them. Lord, just watch over my kids, guide and stay a chaperone over my situation. And that's exactly what the Lord do. That's in the scriptures. But he's been watching over us under this first covenant to ensure that we failed at it, that we wouldn't circumcise our flesh, and it was more than just circumcising our flesh. There we go. It was more than just circumcising our flesh, man. It was also what keeping the commandment, all the commandments. He ensured that we wouldn't be able to do that. And once again, simply, if we didn't circumcise our flesh, our soul would be cut off. But he ensured he watched for that to happen. So, fairly simple. Okay, so I'm going to run through this. Say no one's to be great. But anyway, this is Jeremiah 31 and 32. It says, I'm up with 33, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days. After those days, yeah. Once the first covenant is the breach has completed, basically, the complete failure, the complete cutting off. You know what I'm saying? Like intended. By the seed, chose the seed of Abraham. Jacob, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. He says, I will, saith the Lord, Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts and will be their power, and they shall be my people. Exactly. See that? That's heavy, man. He's going to literally put his laws on our inward parts, man. So, because when you go back to the first covenant, he said it was going to be a perpetual covenant forever anyway. So how will we ever be able to truly break it? It's just how it was set up. Basically, he put us in the situation to be able to make that happen. You know what I'm saying? Like giving us these bodies, not being able to, bring it forth. You know what I'm saying? It's just amazing, man. It's all fake. It was all fake. And we don't have a choice but to honor, keep this is a perpetual covenant. Just being a Hebrew Israelite. It's amazing. It's fate. We was fated for this. Now we're fated to be, and ultimately that just made us fated, to go into slavery, fated to, be broken, destroyed, afflicted, put all that, right? But ultimately being fated, that made us fated to be able to become those kings, to get that land. All of that, man. Through all of that. We'll get more as we go. He says, what? And they shall teach no more every man. So this is what the second covenant consists of, man. Us being changed. Because that's what that goes into. The Lord's going to put his law on our inward parts. How? It's going to be in those new bodies. Because he said, and what inward parts? And those inward parts. The inward of our new life. You know? Which goes into your house shot. You know what I'm saying? That's why your house shot. He was once here, then he got put to death, and then he brought back the second him. The two cut, you know, you see as we keep going, it says, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Lord Yahweh, for I will forgive their iniquity and will remember their sin no more. Yeah, it was all set up. It was all fated. You know, the Lord made a way for to show his mercy. We're the people to where the Lord wanted to demonstrate his, he will use to demonstrate his mercy. You know, it's amazing, man. It's so amazing. It's beautiful. When you go to Sirach, the 36th chapter, it goes into this. Verse 1. Have mercy upon us, O Lord. See? Have mercy upon us, O Lord. O Lord God of all, and behold us, and send thy fear upon all the nations that seek not after thee. Lift up thy hand against the strange nations, and let them see thy power. As thou wast sanctified in us before them, so be thou magnified among them before us. See that? And let them know, this is how it is, man. Woo! He said, let them know thee as we have known thee, that there is no God but only thou, O God. Yeah. You know, it's amazing. And Jake has been fated as the people that will prove that the Most High exists. Look what he did to us. Just look at our condition. People know the Most High exists just off how tall Jake is, man. And Jake, and see, the Lord ain't done just yet, because even it's still to the point where people can question it. Niggas just lazy. No, you gonna literally see who was fated for this. And Jake gonna see it, because Jake don't even want to admit it. As many niggas the Lord killed daily. Somebody just got killed. Somebody was just born. You know, of these seeds of Abraham. Jake still don't see it. We start as a nation, we don't see it. We don't, even if we do, we don't want to. Jake don't want to admit it as a whole. So that's why Jacob's trouble is coming up at its highest point, because that's when the Lord is going to really be able to show he exists on Jacob. Everybody going to realize it. It says, shoot, and let them know thee as we have known thee. Yeah, that there is no God, but only thou, O God, power. Jake going to realize this. It says, shew new signs and make other strange wonders. The Lord said these curses will be upon us for a sign and for a wonder. See that? But it still ain't enough to really, after all the black on black crime, Jake still have yet to, you know, brown on brown crime, black on black, whatever, right? Jake still have yet to acknowledge the Heavenly Father's doing this to us. I mean, they made cartoons out of us. Those was wonders. So the Lord gonna do strange. He gonna do new signs and He gonna make other strange wonders in Jacob's trouble. Glorify thy hand and thy right arm, that they may set forth thy wondrous works. And that's dealing with Yahushua. Yahushua gonna come back and bring judgment in a way that people never even imagined. You know what I'm saying? Yahushua actually bringing all the judgment and killing all these Jakes right now. But a whole nother point: raise up indignation and power out wrath. It's like it pour out wrath. Take away the adversary and destroy the enemy. Make the time short. Remember the covenant. It's a time period. That's all this is for. It's just to show the Lord that he's real, and at the same time to show how much mercy he has and how much he truly loves us, because we're going to get what he was doing. You know, it was like how you say, it said all the time by the brothers, the elder apostles, that the Lord has these other nations in the trick bag, but that's always on the left-hand side. We're in a trick bag on the right-hand side. You know? This slavery was to show us really we the best people. And it really does. Because look how strong we are and how, you know, even though the 2/3 they just waxing worse and worse, our people still yet fight for the Most High. Everybody else forgot about them. That's why it says in Psalms the 9th chapter, all the nations that forget thee shall be turned to hell. And people want to say hell is a place on fire. Well, hell gonna literally be put in fire. So you people gonna get your hell. You gonna get that place. You people gonna be putting those nukes. So this is just beautiful what the Lord did, man. And look, and at that same time, he gonna show mercy on on us. He gonna beam us up. It was all, you know. And then that give him a way to change our bodies, because we ain't getting on these ships with this crap, with these minds. You coming into this. You ain't getting on no ship with no old traumatized minds, so you can bug out. You know what I'm saying? No. See how beautiful it is. That's all. What? That particular part is the second covenant, but it's due to the first covenant. So they go hand in hand. That's the first and second covenant. So once again, this was all a set time, which is a setup for this to all manifest. And we're praying that the Lord make the time short, because we're just being used right now. It's like, use me, Lord, but we're being used. You know, the first covenant really was the Lord using us. That's really what it was. That's how he used Abraham he literally used Abraham. You know, these like details, and it's like, I shouldn't even be saying all this, because this is just my own meditation. But this is really these things really are what the first covenant is going to, and the second covenant. But anyway, make the time short. Remember the covenant. Remember the covenant, and let them declare thy wonderful works. So there it is, man. Okay, let him that escape it be consumed by the rays of the fire, and let them perish that oppress the people. Yeah, smite asunder the heads of the rulers of the heathen that say there is none other but we. All of this is what the second covenant consists of. See that? And what's going to bring forth this? The ending of the people that oppress us, the heads of the rulers of the heathens being smitten. The first covenant. See that? It says, gather all the tribes of Jacob together, and inherit thou them as from the beginning. Why? Because through the first covenant, that part will be the second covenant. This is the second covenant right here. Us being gathered back as we were from the beginning of the tribes, which was due to the first covenant, which had written in it, if we broke the covenant, we would be scattered. See that? So it just made a way for the Lord to gather us in a glorious way. And that, once again, is a way for him to show everybody that he exists. Because how do you think we're going to be gathered? We're not getting on school buses. See? And Yahweh Shai is the first to know all of this, man. He's going to inherit all this, man. You know? Look, all of this, you can read this whole chapter. This chapter is really going into the second covenant. What's going to happen because of this second covenant, due to the first covenant. Because we're in this situation because of the first covenant, but it gives way for the second covenant, which consists of these things, to come forth. See, O Lord, have mercy upon the people. Because the first, which is mercy, is the second covenant. Mercy is the ending of the first covenant. We're going to start receiving that mercy once the first covenant is ready to end. Because, but it says, upon the people that is called by thy name, and upon Israel, whom thou hast named thy firstborn. O be merciful unto Jerusalem, thy holy city, the place of thy rest. See? Because what's going on right now under the first covenant, due to the first covenant. Well, the land being trodden down, man. Us reaping all these things and we built everything, did all the, and other people reaped. They reaped our benefits, which is the land of Israel. So it's being, in the day being the Gentiles, these heathens, these damn dogs, they rep, and they destroyed our land, man, in 70 AD. So the land needs mercy, which is the chosen land. So that gives a way for the Lord to clean that land back up and do what? Make it how it was, from the beginning. See that? The beginning, which is beyond it being Israel when it was at its peak, but the Garden of Eden. See that? That paradise, man. It says, fill Zion with thy unspeakable oracles and thy people with thy glory. See that? And it's beautiful, man. Period. This is all the first covenant, man. This is all the second covenant due to the first covenant. So I can keep reading all day. Give testimony unto those. That's a key word, testimony. Testimony goes into what? Testament. What does the word testament mean? It says, unto those that thou hast possessed from the beginning. Testament means what? Let's get it. I'm going to cut this short. Okay. Whoa. Because it's fairly simple. Because like I said, there's a lot that could be said, but okay, what is this? It's the 8th chapter. I need the 9th chapter. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so when you go into that word testament, right? I mean what? What that say? A covenant. See? Covenant, or what? A contract. It's a covenant, it's a contract. See? Life it's a perpetual one. So when you go back here, you give testimony, Sirach 36 and 15, give testimony unto those, or testament, right? Covenant, unto those that thou hast possessed from the beginning, and raise up prophets that have been in thy name. You see all that happening. Meaning what? The first is we at the end of the first covenant, man. We're getting ready to go into that second one. Reward them that wait for thee, and let thy prophets be found faithful. Because what does the second covenant consist of? If you picked up what? The Lord having mercy on us and coming and fixing us from the state we've been broken down to, through those that oppress us, the slavery we've been put into, which was all a part of what? The first covenant. But see, that was a way for the Lord to get these people. Because if we broke the covenant, we would go into slavery on slave ships, man. Everybody would get up above us. And through them taking us, we would discontinue from our heritage. But see, that was all of the first covenant, which was set up to give way to the second one. So the second one will result in what? Lord reversing all those things. Consuming these people by a rage and fire. That's World War III. Destroying America, which is that Egypt. that slavery, you know, taking the bankers and all the things they collected and putting them in chains, which is the heads of the rulers of the heathens, you know, through once again that first, and that's what the second covenant consists of. That's the second covenant. All that mercy. That's the beginning of the second covenant, man. Pretty much, you know, which that was able to be. They got on that level due to what? The first covenant, which consisted of, if we broke the first covenant, we didn't keep the commandments, not just circumcising our flesh, but the rest of the commandments. What will happen? The stranger that is within our gates will get above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, but thou shalt not lend unto him. And they own, literally, that's lending loans is through banks. The elites, the people that the heads of the heathens, or heads of the rulers of the heathens, the heads of the rulers of the heathen. So you got heads over rulers. You got heads over the rulers of these people. Those people are elite bankers. See that? Which they was able to get to that point through the first covenant, which is the Lord once again showing he's not only merciful, but just, because that gave way for these other people. See, it's amazing, man. It's amazing. Fate, but only for them to be used, only for them to really be used to show the Lord got mercy on us and how much he loves us, how much he with us. Because now he gonna come fucking destroy them. We were scattered. Now they took us on ships. Well, now we about to leave on ships. See that? Kicked out of Jerusalem. Now the Lord about to be merciful on Jerusalem. They destroyed it. They doing gay parades there, and there's all type, kosher cigarettes, all type of stuff going on there, man. And now the Lord is about to start. He's back talking with us. That gave way for prophets. It's just amazing. So that's just to say that, okay, that would even a part of this. Now, it says what? Verse 35. I'm actually starting at 34. So this is dealing with the second covenant. What the second covenant is, verse 33, Jeremiah 31:33. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days. What days? When the first covenant is ready to pass. Failure complete. It says, souls cut off. It says, after those days, now did he lie to Abraham? No. He just made way for that to happen, to be the case. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my heart, because think about it. If he made that deal, and these the same vessels that was on the earth pre-flood, because think about it. Everybody on the earth came from the same vessels that was on the earth pre-flood, which was Ham, obviously Noah, but Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Everybody on earth right now come from these people. So these was the same bodies that was on the earth pre-flood, and it's so heavy because that's why the Lord says, "For as in the days of Noah, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be." These are the same fucking people. These are the same bodies and everything. So my point of saying that is, if the Lord made a deal with a man who was of the same flesh, right? Particularly the man Shem, right? Not Hamites, Shem, but of the same flesh of the bodies, the vessels, even though those were men who were saved, But if he made a deal with a man who's of that same flesh of the flesh that was of the when the earth got destroyed due to just not being able to do right, that would have told you right there when you think about it, the Lord had something up his sleeve. Because how will we be able to really keep this deal with you? How would I do that? So he already had something, it was this. He's like, I know, I'm gonna let them try. I'm gonna give them this, and they're gonna break it. And the stipulations of it is gonna be so I can cut them off. See, which is why He's gonna give us new bodies and a new heart, a new life. We're gonna literally get a whole new life, a literal new soul. You know what I'm saying? Like we still gonna be us, but it's gonna be completely different. It's amazing. It says, so after, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, says the Lord. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their power, and they shall be my people, and they shall teach no more. Because the Lord didn't lie to Abraham, you know. But you can really think about it. He couldn't have been talking about that covenant. It was impossible. He was going to be able to establish that promise, manifest that promise through the same, these low level. Come on, man. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor. These the bodies that forget everything. Then you gotta tell you right there, you gotta have a good memory. So how are you gonna make this? How is this gonna come to pass? And this can't be new, so this had to be around in the first covenant. But this is what the second covenant consists of. And every man his brother saying, know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them. Ain't gonna be no more of us on corners and doing this. We're not gonna have to do this no more. No one's gonna forget the Lord. We're gonna have perfect memories. How are we gonna do this without having perfect memories? And if we get a perfect memories, that's a change. That means our old memories was cut off. See, it says, saith the Lord, for I will forgive their iniquity and will remember their sin no more. Thus saith the Lord, which was given sun for a light by the day, and the ordinance of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divided the sea when the waves thereof roared. The Lord of hosts is his name. If those ordinances, Slaki, Yahweh Bashmiel Shai is his name. If those ordinances depart from me, saith Yahweh, then the seed of Israel, which is that seed of Abraham, that will get that land and have that covenant continue with everlasting, perpetually. It says, then the seed of Israel, which is the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, by the way, once again, also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. And we damn near did that. But once again, it was so what? And it was because of what? One, so we could get the new life, the new spirits, and it's because we pretty much got cut off due to not keeping that covenant, that first covenant, which is the circumcision, and the commandments, because there was more with it besides just circumcising your flesh, man. So it says, thus saith the Lord, if heaven can be measured above, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith the Lord. Exactly. Behold, the day is come. So it's just to show how merciful he was, and how masterful how beautiful of a mind the Lord has, man. That's really what that's how beautiful these covenants are. It says, but behold, the days come, said the Lord Yahweh Bashmiel Shai. Yeah, that's it. I can read on both. It says, the city shall be built from the Lord Yahweh, from the tower of Hananeel unto the gate of the corner. And the measuring of lines shall yet go forth over against upon hill Gareb, and shall compass Goah, and the whole valley of dead bodies and of the ashes, and all the fields up to the brook of Kadron, unto the corner of the horse gate toward the east, shall be holy unto the Lord. So the Lord gonna redo our whole land, man, our holy state. He's gonna redo everything. Everybody is gonna be crazy. That's the second covenant, man. It says, shall be holy unto the Lord. It shall not be plucked up, nor thrown down anymore forever. Once we're under that second covenant. And those days is coming, man. Okay, now check this out. So, restoration promised. Woo! Where are we at? We already in Deuteronomy. See that? Now check this out. When you jump down to the 18th verse, it says, Salah. Yeah, it's amazing, man. Yeah, this is all due to breaking the command. Restoration promise. And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee, and shall return unto the Lord thy God. You see? So this is this is the first covenant and the breaking of it. This is the results of it. It says, and shall return unto the Lord thy God. That's the end of that's the end of the first covenant, the breaking of it by default, by automation, which is going to be the start of what you're going to see, the second one. Because why is restoration promised already before we even did anything? So the second covenant was a part of it. The second covenant was written in the first covenant. There's two parts to it, basically. It says, and shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice, according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart. Impossible. It says to really do it how the Lord wanted done. It says, and with all thy soul, then the Lord Yahweh Bashmiel Shai, thy God, will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations. See, whether the Lord thy God has scattered thee. But wait a minute. That sounds like the second covenant. See that? See how the Lord did that? You know? That's how the Lord did that, man. You know? Because he said he gonna gather us. Said he gonna watch over us to build and to plant us where? Back home. That's gonna be through what? Gathering us, man. You know? And it's in the other one. It's in the next one. But that's back here. That's like I said, this chapter is going into the second covenant. Gather all the tribes of Jacob together and inherit thou them from the beginning. See? So that's beautiful, man. So how's restoration promised already? Because that the second covenant was a part of this first covenant, which is what all this is right here. He's talking about the first covenant, but in the first covenant, it leads you is the second covenant. You know, it's the way to the second covenant. So we had to go through everything we went through just to get those promises, man. It's crazy. It's like Abraham had to walk through the wilderness, everything, man. That's how we know we the people, man. And shit, like once again, Lord kept his word with everything as far as us felon. So he gonna keep it to the T. Slips, the curses, the bywords, our women. I mean everything, man. Our evil towards your brother. I mean every single thing. Us being, just continuing from our heritage, being sick and stupid, just crazy. Scattered all over the earth. He kept all that. He literally said, I'm going to watch over you for that, to make sure that happened. Because once again, it was all a setup to lead us into something better, which is what the second covenant is. You know? Why would you make a deal? Why would he make a deal with Abraham and he could die? I'm gonna just give you kids that's gonna be able to die and we're just gonna keep coming back. No, we're not doing it like that. Man, it's so heavy, man. It's so powerful. It says, my goodness, man. He said, if anyone, verse 4, if anyone be of thine be driven out unto the utmost parts of heaven, from this will the Lord thy God gather gather thee. So the Lord said we could be living on another planet. The slave trade could have sent us to another goddamn planet. He gonna come get us. And from thence will he fetch thee. You're not gonna be stuck in these stupid ass cities, man. We about to get the hell out of here, man. We about to get out of here. That's the second covenant. That's the second covenant about. But once again, the first covenant leads you to the second, which we know we're under the first one now because we're being punished according to it. All our punishment is literally according to this deal that was made with Abraham and his seed if they didn't keep, what the Lord, told them to do. And the results of it will be everything needed for the Lord to do everything written in the second one. So he wouldn't have lied to Abraham. It was all a setup. So we finna get the hell out of here, man. About to be kings. Hey, he made a way. Like I said, Jake said all the time, like the Lord working mysterious ways. We finna get new bodies. We about to get new. Our memories about to be washed. Man, it's about to be off the chain, man. It says in the Lord thy God. So you gotta understand the first and second covenant, man. To understand the world you in, your life, your purpose. This is really our purpose. It's fated. That's what it means to be chosen. The Lord does what he pleases with us, man. It says, and the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed after being kicked out. That's the planning. And thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. So we're going to go further than Abraham, which is how he's still going to be the father of many nations. Because he would be the grandfather. But we're going to have more. Look how much his seed duplicated. He said, we're going to be greater than Abraham. That's why the Lord talked about the many mansions. We're about to literally go to the other planets, man. It's going to be crazy. It's about to be crazy. It says, and the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart and thy heart and the heart of thy seed. And now that's my point. And the Lord thy God, Yahweh thy power will circumcise thine heart. See? So the first covenant was about the circumcision of the second covenant. This is dealing with the second covenant. Him circumcising our heart, which is what? Him putting that law, his law, what? On our inward parts. Jeremiah 31 and 33. Verse 30, But this shall be the covenant this is the second covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord Yahweh. I will put my law in their inward parts, and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. So when you literally reading about the consequences in the first covenant, the Lord telling you about the second covenant. See? Verse 30, Deuteronomy 30 and 6, and the Lord thy God, Yahweh thy power will circumcise thy heart. That's the second covenant. It says, in the heart of thy seed to love, he going to give us new memory. He's going to give us perfect memory. He's going to give us new bodies. And that's going to cause our children, our seeds to have the same type, be of the same pedigree by default, because we're going to bring forth many seeds. That's another beautiful aspect of these covenants, man. We get to be fruitful and multiply, man. It says that's our power. That's our blessing. That's our birthright, man, to be fruitful and multiply. We're supposed to go crazy. It says and we're about to. That's one, and we know we those people because they make fun of Jake for having a lot of kids, man. They act like something wrong with us. They set up Planned Parenthood, goddamn birth control, which Jake can't even afford kids. But it's, that's still like it's just innate in Jake, because we're Abraham, man. We're that seed of Abraham, which is said to multiply above the fathers, which would be Jacob himself, Isaac, and Abraham, man. It says, and the Lord thy God, and then even, we go back to Noah. But anyway, it says, and the Lord Yahweh thy God will circumcise thy heart and the heart of thy seed to love the Lord thy God. He gonna literally program us and make us a certain way. He said he's gonna make our heart to where we can love the Lord. He gonna change us, man. He gonna cut off this shit and he gonna give, which is a way to make this happen. Give us something else. Make us something else. It says to love the Lord Yahweh thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. So that thou mayest live. It was all just so we could live. And the Lord will, God, thy Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So we will have to be cursed so the curses can get put on them. And so we can have enemies and so we can be ruled. Who are we gonna rule over? Those that oppressed us. But in order for that to happen, we would have had to been oppressed by these people. So it's all a setup, man. So we can have somebody to rule over and be over, you know, and it will be righteous. It says, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. You know? So that's that, man. You know? So that's all of the second covenant. Period, man. Okay? I think that's what I wanted. Now, once again, restoration promise. Now, when you go here, this is Deuteronomy, what was that? That was Deuteronomy 30. Okay, so the point that I was reading this for was, I read it, so it's all good. This is Deuteronomy 10, right? Check this out. Verse 16. Yeah, Circumcise, therefore, the skin. You see, I'm actually starting at 15. It says, only the Lord had a delight in thy fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them, even you above all people as it is this day. Circumcise, therefore, the foreskin of your hearts, and be no more stiff-necked, which is and that will be counted as, that's the new covenant. But once again, in order to get these promises and get that land, going back to what the Lord told Abraham, we will have to what? We will have to circumcise. We have to circumcise ourselves, man. You know? See that? This is my covenant. Verse 10, Genesis 10, 17 and 10. This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee, which is us. Every man child among you shall be circumcised. See? It just says circumcised. But in this regard, he went on to say, ye shall, period. Then he said, ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant between me and you. But that wasn't the actual force. That wasn't the actual circumcision. See that? That's a part of it. That's not to take away from that. But that's why this is written. The Lord told us to do what? Circumcise the foreskin of our heart, Deuteronomy 10 and 16, and be no more stiff-necked. And my point of mentioning that was the only way we will be able to what? Get that land that the Lord had promised us, right? Is by the covenant, right? And the way to activate that land through of the covenant was through what? Circumcision. See that? So when you go to Deuteronomy 30, 10 and 16 again, circumcise, therefore, the foreskin of your heart. He's telling us how to do it. See? That's how we're going to get it. If we can just circumcise get the access out of our minds, which he's going to do, we're going to be able to get the land. But only the Lord can do that. It's spiritual. This is not, we can't actually crack our head open and cut some actual skin off our brain. Nah. Because when you go into that word heart, mean what? Word you got there is labab, lob, and it mean what? See, soul, mind, thinking, reflection, memory. you know. And another word for soul is what? Spirit, man. You know, spirit. So it's spiritual. It's a spiritual circumcision. That's the one that took place. And it's happening now. Our mind, we're literally being circumcised, man. You know, we're in a process of about to be completely circumcised in our mind. See? Soul is what? They say the spiritual or immaterial part of a human being or animal regarded as immortal. See? So he said, circumcise our spirit, you know, and if we didn't circumcise our flesh, our soul will be cut off. But that gave a way for him to get that. Oh my goodness, that's like circumcision right there. He said that man gonna be cut off. He said that man gonna be cut off. He said that man gonna be cut. That soul shall be cut off from his people, man. You see Genesis 17 and 14, and the uncircumcised man whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant, man. But it was all by design, though. And that, what do you do when you circumcise your flesh? You're right. You cutting off. See that? So just by us being put in a position to not do this completely, you know, it gave way for the actual circumcision to take place, which was circumcising our our heart, you know, the foreskin of our heart, you know, and our heart is our what? Our soul. So circumcising the foreskin of our soul. See that? So by doing this or not doing the circumcising of the foreskin of our rod, which is ultimately just not keeping the commandments, right? That gave way for us to complete the actual circumcision that the Lord wanted done the entire time, which is what? Deuteronomy 10 and 16. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart and be no more stiff-necked. See? Because once again, your heart is your soul. See that? So he basically saying, cut off the foreskin of your soul, man, or your heart. You know? Period. And that's literally what the Lord do. He gonna cut off bad people, bad ways, once they, once it's there. That's heavy. Oh my goodness, that's tough. That's why he would cut those souls off, because they bad. It's no good. It's like dead weight, you know. So he gonna cut off us from being wicked, man. He gonna cut wickedness off from us. He gonna cut us off. But he ain't gonna cut, because he said, the scriptures tell you that the Lord, he said what? The Lord said that, he said that pretty much the seed of Jacob gonna go forever, man. You know? That's what he said. You know? The days of Israel are innumerable. You know? Period. I just read it, how he said he was never gonna cut us off. Now check this out. And it also said that in the chapter that talks about restoration being promised, that goes into the second covenant. And he also, because he also said it in this. He said it in verse, or what's known as verse. Yeah. 6. And the Lord thy God will circumcise thy heart. He gonna do it, see? Oh man. See that? So that gave way for the circumcision of our heart to take place. You know? Us not keeping the commandments, not being able to, will cause us to be cut off like foreskin. You know what I'm saying? Which is exactly what we need. It would cause for the Lord to cut us off like foreskin. But it wouldn't be in a way to completely get rid of us. It would be in a way to get rid of the bad. You know? So now that's said in this chapter, 10th chapter. Now, when you jump up, he told us to do it. But really, he already said he the one who's going to do it. That's what's written in the second covenant. He's going to do it. We're trying to figure out how to do it, but it's already written he going to do it. That's the second covenant. The second covenant is when he does it, which is right at the beginning of it, which is basically the ending of the first. What does this say? The tablets rewritten. And what did those tablets represent? Those tablets represented our minds. Those tablets represented pretty much, this goes back, the two tablets represented the first covenant and the second covenant, which is basically just the one deal in two parts. And what happened? The tablets got rewrote because Moses broke. He broke them. They got broke because of Jake. You know? So when you read verse 1, at that time the Lord said unto me, hew thee two tables of stone like unto the first, and come up unto me into the mount, and make thee an ark of wood. Now, when he remade them, right? I'm gonna say, I'm gonna just read it. It says, "Now I will write on the tables the words that were in the first tables, which thou breakest, and thou shalt put them in the ark." That represented Jake breaking the first covenant, because when the first covenant, because even though there was two, it was really one. They was just in two parts, because it go on and said, and he wrote on the table, verse 4, and he wrote on the tables. Let me start. We just read through. It says, "And I made an ark of shittim wood," because remember Moses wrote this, "and hewed two tables of stone like unto the first, and went up into the mount, having the two tables in my hand. And he wrote on the tables according to the first writing, the 10 commandments, which the Lord Yahweh spake unto you in the mount of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly, and the Lord gave them unto me." See? And that was it. So there was two tables of what? Of the same thing, man. You know? There was two tables of the same thing. So it's just in two parts. So when they got broke the first time, that was just symbolic for Jake. Because Moses was Jake breaking the covenant, man. The first covenant. And then he would bring a new set, which is another two tables, which is a representation of the second covenant, which can't be broken. And that's exactly what happened or didn't happen to those two. You know, to the new set. They weren't broke no more. They didn't get broke. See, that was all spiritual. See that? And then we know that's true because when you go to the Apocrypha, Second Maccabees, in the second chapter, at this second Maccabees 2 and 1, it is also found in the records that Jeremiah the prophet commanded them that were carried away to take of the fire as it had been signified, and how that the prophet, having given them the law, charged them not to forget the commandments of the Lord, and that they should not err in their minds when they see the images of silver and gold with their ornaments. And with other speeches exhorted he them that the law should not depart from their hearts. It says, it was also contained in the same writing that the prophet, being warned of the Most High, commanded the tabernacle and the ark to go with him as he went forth into the mountain where Moses climbed up and saw the heritage of the Most High. And when Jeremiah came thither, he found an hollow cave wherein he laid the tabernacle and the ark. The tabernacle you could literally move around with, and the ark, which the two tables was in, which was basically just the covenant, the deal in two parts. Drops two tables, right? And the altar of incense, and so stopped the door. And some of those that followed him came to mark the way, but they could not find it, you know? And it's been there ever since, man. So people can't, you know, they didn't get broke, you know? When Jeremiah perceived, he blamed them, saying, as for that place, it shall be unknown until the time that God, the Most High, Yahweh, gather his people again together and receive them unto mercy. Oh my goodness. Then the Lord shewed them, then shall the Lord shew them these things. They not broke. See? And that represented, that's how you know it represented the second covenant. Them didn't get broke. Moses broke the first set, messing with Jacob. Representing the first covenant was going to be broke. Before we even got a chance to, you know, get into the land, they was broke already. Thus, it was already broke. It was all set up. And then the second covenant, it was the second set he came with. Not the second, that too. The second, the second covenant was the second set he came with, man. Which was two tables as well. But once again, representing the first and second covenant, but really just, it's really two tables, because as you see, the second covenant is within the first covenant. So it's just one deal. It's just it's in two parts, which is why, even though it's two tables, they only consisted of two things. I mean, of one thing, which is just the commandments written on it. It wasn't one thing was written on this and one thing was written on that. Nah, the Lord did that specifically. But anyway, it says, then he told him, he said, like, yo, y'all trying to follow me, basically. He said, then shall the Lord, he said, y'all ain't gonna see this no more until the Lord gather us back, which is the second covenant. See? And that represents the second covenant. When he literally gathers us, that's what the second covenant consists of. That's a deal, that's a contract. The Lord has got to gather us. And when he gathered us, the second covenant is literally still in one piece. And we're going to literally see it. He's going to show it to us. Then shall the Lord shew them these things, and the glory of the Lord shall appear. And the cloud also, as it was shewed unto Moses, was a big shit. Moses was inside of a chariot. It was a chariot over that mountain, man, Mount Sinai. It says, and as when Solomon desired that the place might be honorably sanctified, which is spiritual, because that was who? That was Yahweh Shai. You know? And you can just keep reading this, but that's that, man. So that's powerful. So this, you know, that's what we're going to. So the second covenant also consists of Lord showing us the Ark of the Covenant, which is all gold and of shittim wood with the staves through it. And he's going to show us the actual stones that it was written on, which was more than likely some form of a precious stone. You know, it might have been, I think I did research in it. I think they said it might be lapis. They might think they wrote on lapis stones. Like the covenant, the commandments is on lapis stones. Lapis lazuli stones, which is spiritual because the word lazuli goes back to azul, which means heaven. So the heavenly stones. You know, lazuli, the word goes back to the Aramaic word, it's basically Hebrew, azul, which is heaven. You know, and lapis is stone. So heaven stone. You know, so it might be made out of lapis. And I had a dream about lapis, you know. But anyway, so that's a part of the second covenant. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and close out. You know, so the table's rewritten. You know, that's what that represented, man. You know, so yeah, all that Moses originally, we gonna see what Moses had that day. It's put up right now. The first table without breakage, uh, and thou shalt put them in the ark. So they're in the ark. They're in the ark. They're in the ark. And we just read that what Jeremiah was told to what? He was told to take the tabernacle and the ark and stop the door. He put it in the cave. And it's in the two tables he wrote on is on Moses wrote on. It's in the ark put up, waiting for when we get gathered. The Lord gonna show us all this. It's gonna be amazing, man. But anyway, moving on. So the second covenant, which is really just a latter part of the ultimate deal, or the first covenant, if you will, comes down to circumcision. Philippians 3:3. For we are the circumcision, which worship Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bashmi Shai in the spirit. See, so it's never about the flesh. You know, it says, and rejoice in Kamashiach Yahweh Shai, and have no confidence in the flesh. You know, it ain't about none of that. Though I might have also confidence in the flesh, cause yeah, you're supposed to physically get the physical circumcision too, but it's not. That's not what wasn't even the circumcision that was gonna activate the deal. You know, which is us getting the land and becoming kings and being fruitful and multiplying to the point. You know, man. You know, it's some heavy stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? It didn't come down to that physical one. It came down. It was ultimately a spiritual one, man. It said, "Circumcise the 8th day." He said, "So though I might have also confidence in the flesh, if any other man, any like you brothers, if any brothers out there, you ain't circumcised, you need to get circumcised, man, physically, as we rehearse the righteous act." You know what I'm saying? Though I might also have in the confidence in the flesh, if any other man thinketh that he hath whereof he might trust in the flesh, I more circumcise the 8th day. See, the 8th day, because you got jakes that circumcised as soon as they born. Some got circumcised when they was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Or ain't circumcised at all. It says circumcise the 8th day of the stock of Israel. You know what I'm saying? Of the tribe of Benjamin, and Hebrew of the Hebrews, as touching law, a Pharisee. So yeah, that ain't nothing, man. That's a part of it, but it don't come down to that. It came down to what it was actually about. You know, that deal was upon the spirit. You know, but anyway, and that's why we saying this now. We get it now. That's how we know we at the end. It says Jeremiah 9:25. We about to enter into that second covenant, man. We done went through the slavery. We done went through all the fucking curses. Shit, ain't a curse we ain't went through. You know, we gotta fulfill we gotta fulfill the last little bits of what certain curses is gonna bring, like the RFID chip, MOTB, Mark Cuban, Mark Beasley. You know, in the World War III, really. You know, and dogs eat people, animals and stuff. You know, that's all through the curses. That's all that is Jacob's trouble, which is brought out through the curses, which is once again the Lord showing everybody that He exists. Because things gonna get that bad to where you're gonna be like, okay, dang, the Lord did this. Jeremiah 23:20, read it. You know, it says Jeremiah 9. And I'm gonna start at 24. But let him that glory in this, that he understandeth and know me, that I am the Lord Yahweh, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth, for in these things I delight, saith the Lord. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will punish all them which are circumcised with the uncircumcised. See that? Egypt and Judah and Edom and the children of Ammon and Moab. And the circumcised would be us, the Israelites, and the uncircumcised would be these heathens. You know what I'm saying? Period. It says so-called white man, so-called Chinese man, Japanese man, and mingled people in the heathen nations in, spiritual Egypt, which is America. It says, and the children of Ammon and Moab, and all that are in the utmost corners that dwell in the wilderness. For all these nations are uncircumcised, and all the house of Israel are uncircumcised in the heart. Yeah, because we're the uncircumcised too in the same breath, because we became like the other nations. That's why we gotta repent. But that's what the uncircumcised is actually. That's the uncircumcision that can get you that the Lord was always concerned with, not the one necessarily of the flesh, but ultimately the one of the mind, the heart, the spirit. Jeremiah. So that's that. So we're gonna basically realize that. Okay, we're gonna realize that's what it was about. Okay, Jeremiah 50:4. In those days and in that time, saith the Lord, it says, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together. See that? Going and weeping. They shall go and seek the Lord their God. Remember, I said, starting this off, that the covenants come down to what? Just fate. So we're fated at some point at this end of this first covenant, which is basically the starting of the second, if you will, but more so the complete ending of the first, that this will happen. Basically that's the Lord, that's what they agreed upon. Like, okay, I'm gonna be able to do this, what you see. I'm gonna do this, we're gonna do this, these my kids. We was the Lord's kids to begin with before it was sent here, there. You know what I'm saying? So it's but anyway, it says they shall ask the way, and that's dealing with the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. And you're seeing that right now, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians crying and weeping. And we seeking the Lord, man. We going and seeking the Lord in those days. And what days? When the Lord is getting ready to start the second covenant, man. Which consists of all these beautiful things. See that? It says, and this is going to be able to make way, and it has been able to make way and happen currently, right now, due to the first covenant, which is all a setup, a lead up. Lord already knew he was making a two-part movie. A beginning and an end. You know what I'm saying? How it will begin, that's one part. How it will end, that's the second part. Okay? They shall ask the way to Zion. See? With their faces thitherward. Yeah, we face the east now. And we pray everything. It says, saying, come and let us join ourselves to the Lord Yahweh in Bashmi in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. We will remember the covenant, man, the deal. This is happening, man. Like, doing this lesson right now is fulfilling this. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have forgotten. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. And what's so beautiful about it? With the beginning of the second covenant and the ending of the first, we don't got to wait for niggas to get it. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's a number written already. We just waiting for that number to be sealed. 2/3 of our people out of there. We ain't got to wait. It's beautiful. That's why he say, make the time short. So, and we're going to do this, as you can see when you read on. It says, all that found them have devoured them, and their adversary said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord, the habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. Then knowing damn devils knew that basically this is also pointing out that in those same days, you're going to have the other nations that's ruling over us, remembering that and acknowledging we got that covenant, man. Which is why I say the devil come down having great wrath because he knoweth that he have but a short time. They're gonna be reading the scriptures. You know, the dude that did the elder brother already announced it. He did the Lord Ron said his name correctly, but he did the lesson going into the damn Edomite, talking about, you know, God, these niggas think Judah first check they got it. God, he think, you know, he's gonna kill these niggas. Somebody said they'll crack it, man. Which is an example of these ones would be in the when the first covenant getting ready to end. Them looking at the fact through the scriptures, or looking at the scriptures and the fact that we so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians are the children of Israel, are under the first covenant, and it's getting ready to end. And they will also learn that the second covenant they have nothing to do with, man. Because we here telling them, you know, prophets back, it says we move out of the midst of Babylon. And this is showing you once that first covenant is getting ready to end, which is you're gonna know it because the Lord say these things gonna happen. The children of Israel, the northern kingdom, and the children of Judah, the southern kingdom, gonna go weep, crying, and repent. They're gonna ask the way to Zion, facing thitherward, you know. And it says what? Remove out of the midst of Babylon and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, be as the he goes before the flocks. They're going to be doing this in America. So it's almost over with. These so-called white people. And it's going to be every man for himself. We're not waiting on Jay. We're not here to save the nation. We're here to, you know, fish for men, the elect. All right? 1/3, man. Start with 144,000. You know? He goats don't move like sheep. The Lord telling us we will be like we are to be like he goats in this way. And the Lord said He gonna send a army against Babylon from the north country, and they're gonna shoot arrows on this place, man. That's that fire going back into the Sirach, the 36th chapter. That's when you know we're almost in the second covenant, man. Beautiful. So the Davidic kingdom, another part. So these are the things that the first covenant, or this is how the second covenant will be brought in. These things will be happening. This is when the first covenant that we can't wait to end it. You know. Now, some more things that the second covenant consists of. It says the Davidic kingdom. Psalms 37, and I'm gonna start at verse 24. And David, my servant, shall be king over them. Yeah, King David gonna come back, which we believe was it was definitely Mashah. It says, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto them, unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt, and they shall dwell therein. Yeah, some of us never even left the country, you know. So to leave this damn country and to actually go the hell backward, you know, our essence, where we're from, and not even be based there. We're not gonna be bound there, but just go back home and be able. And we gotta, you in and out of your home. You got a home. You got homes, cities. We're gonna run the whole earth, but we got right now we got a land with our name on it. We own land, we own homes, we own all of that. No one, and it's the best land. It's the most beautiful, inhabitable place on the planet Earth. You know, and it's all ours. You have a part there. You have a place there, being an Israelite, being of, you know, Abraham, man. That seed of Abraham. You know, we're going to actually go back there, man. We're going to branch out, but we're going to go back home first and foremost, man. It says, and they shall dwell therein, and they and their children, and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. it's going to be in a way that our fathers didn't even dwell there. It's going to be it's going to be built up. Our city is going to be paved with gold, stones. I mean, everything, man. It's going to be crazy. You know, I heard the elder apostles, the elder brothers talking about it, earlier. Drinking the new wine that's going to be in the kingdom. You couldn't drink that wine. They were saying how you couldn't drink that wine with this body. You would die. That wine that you're going to drink with Yahweh Shai in the kingdom, which is when we back home in Israel. And everything made new. You would die. You try to drink that water, man. Elder brother was saying how, he'd rather, it'd be too much trying to drink it in his body. He'd go get a $5 gas station water bottle or something. But that's the level it's going to be on, man. That's all of the second covenant. It says, and my servant David shall be their prince forever. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. See, moreover, it's more to the second covenant. It says, it shall be an everlasting covenant with them. And I will place them and multiply them and will sanctify and set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. My tabernacle also shall be with them, as Jeremiah said. Yeah, I will be their power, and they shall be my people. And the heathen shall know that I, the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, do sanctify Israel. For my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. See? And that's it, man. So we're going to have this covenant. We ain't going to have to worry about war no more ruckus. You're going to be able to sleep with your doors open, windows open. You might have a retractable roof. You might sleep on the beach. You know what I'm saying? Because it's Israel. You got a whole country. You know what I'm saying? And then the land going to expand because we taking Edom shit. You read that in Obadiah. It's going to expand. We're going to rule the whole earth. It's about to be crazy, man. That's the second covenant. So all that stuff happening to them damn Gentiles over there, man. This is Matthew 4. And how is it activated? Matthew 14, Mark 14, I got a few more. Mark 14 and 24. And he said unto them, this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed. You see, this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many. See? And what does testament mean again? Covenant. So by drinking that blood, right, that wine, partaking in that wine, having that blood of Yahweh Shai, you activate the second covenant, man, because that's the new covenant. The New Testament is the second covenant. See that? Spiritual. That's what Yahweh Shai taught. Verily, I say unto you. That's why they talking like this in the book of Philippians. See, the goal of life. Rejoice in the Lord, man. Lord did this for us, man. This was they saying that because this was Yahweh Shai brought forth, man. And he said what? Verse 23. He said he took the cup, and when he had given thanks, he gave it to them, and they drank all of it. And he said unto them, this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many. So that's the proof. Verily I say unto you, I will drink no more of the fruit of this vine until the day that I drink it new in the kingdom of power. The Father. See that? So that's that, man. And that's actually talking about the Lord too. Because when you go back into those tables written, those tables also go into the Lord too. Because the Lord needed something to write on. He needed a foundation. Yahweh Shai the stone. So it's all spiritual. The second set representing Yahweh Shai being perfect. You know what I'm saying? And the first one is like his death. The first one like his death because it was a stone, man. We go to Psalms, the 118th chapter. I want to say that is. Let me see if I can get that real quick. Psalms 118, and jumping to the point. It says, verse 22. I'm gonna start at 21. I will praise thee, for thou hast heard me, and art become my salvation. Yeah, Yahushua, he gonna save his people, us. The stone which the builders refuse is becoming the headstone of the corner. This is the Lord's doing. It is marvelous in our eyes. So it's all spiritual, man. And then when you go to matter of fact, because who wrote on those tablets? Moses, right? When you go to Matthew 5, it says the Sermon on the Mount, right? And you jump down to 48, he says, or is that John? No, it's like John 5 and 48. Yeah, it's a lot. It say what? Witness of the scriptures. See, which is what testimony means. So those tablets was testimony, and those tablets represented the first covenant, or the first and second covenant, or the deal, which is that's in two parts, which is known as the first and second covenant, or what? Testament, and testament or testament, which goes into testimony, means what? Witness. It's proof, It was proof that the Lord talked with us. That's why he kept them around. So when he come back, and we're in the time of the second covenant, he's gonna show us that I really talked with Moses. Look, we're gonna see it. You know what I'm saying? So that's spiritual witness of the scriptures. Now, verse 39, search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. See that? So those stones went into Yahushua. Now, when you jump down to verse 46, he said, I'm going to start at 45. Do not think that I will accuse you to the Father. There is one that accuses you, even Moses, in whom you trust. For had you believed Moses, you will have believed me. For he wrote of me. You see? But if you believe not his writings, how shall ye believe my words? And what was his writings? His writings was on those stones, man. Writings of stone. So it's all spiritual, man. It's all spiritual. That's very, very, they broke the first set, Then the second one was unbroken, head put up. That's like literally Yahushua life, man. Yahushua, he broke by Jake, killed by Jake, not killed by Jake, delivered up by Jake and murdered by Esau. That first body, then that second body, wasn't broke. He wasn't killed. He wasn't murdered. Jake couldn't get to him. See? Like he couldn't get to Jeremiah with that set. You know what I'm saying? So it's just spiritual. Okay? Trying to be all deep. It's just, So yeah, man. So we gonna get that through that blood, man. The old and the new. It says what? Hebrews 9:1. Then verily the first covenant had also ordinances of divine services and a worldly sanctuary, for there was a tabernacle made. The first wherein was the candlestick and the table and the shewbread, which is called the sanctuary. And listen to this. And after the second veil, the tabernacle, which is called the holiest of all. Okay, that ain't it yet. It says, which had the golden censer and the ark of the covenant overlaid round about with gold, wherein was the golden pot that had manna, and Aharon's rod budded, and the tables of the covenant, right? And it says, and over it the cherubims of glory, shadowing the mercy seat, of which we cannot speak now particularly. Now, when these things were thus ordained, the priest went always into the first tabernacle, accomplishing the service of God. But into the second went the high priest alone once every year, not without blood, which he offered for himself and the heirs of the people. So that's Yahweh Shai. So all that stuff set up was just representing Yahweh Shai. Everything that Moses did, he wrote of Yahweh Shai. It was Yahweh Shai. It was all a foreshadow of Yahweh Shai, from the tables to the servants of the priest to the high priest, how the high priest would operate along. It was Yahweh Shai. The Holy Ghost the Holy Ghost this signifying. See that? That the way into the holiest of all was not yet made manifest. So it wasn't clear that that's what was going on. You see? While as the first tabernacle was yet standing, which was a figure for the present time, so like for the time then present, in which were offered both gifts and sacrifices that could not make him that did the service perfect as pertaining to the conscience, which stood only in meats and drinks and divers washes and cardinal ordinances imposed on them until the time of Reformation. But Hamashiach being come and high priest of good things to come by a greater and more perfect tabernacle, not made with hands, that is to say, not of this building. Yeah, it's his body. He's it says, neither by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood he entered in once into the holy place. Which is, yeah, because where was the holy place? Did he go into a holy place on the earth? Did he go into a tabernacle on the earth? No. He went into the tabernacle. First of all, the tabernacle started in the heavens. Moses brought down what he seen there first. So Yahweh Shai, he went into the one that nobody else can go into, which was the tabernacle in the heavens. And only the high priest can go into that one. Don't see, that's how you know. And through it, he had to do what? His blood. That's why when you read Revelation 5, it says, and there it was looking and it was looking like there was a lamb that had been slain. Because in the tabernacle, you bring that blood. See that? You know? Yeah, into that second tabernacle, man. You know? Neither by the blood of goats. It's like it. For if blood of bulls and of goats and then the ashes of the heifer sprinkling the unclean sanctified to the purifying of the flesh, how much more shall the blood of the Messiah or the Hamashiach, who through the eternal spirit offer himself without spot to the Most High, purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living God. And for this cause, he is the mediator of the New Testament. See, the second covenant, that by means of death. You know, he's really our way into he's gonna help. He's helping activate the second covenant. That's how it goes. The second covenant, once again, now it's activated through the circumcising of our heart, which is really us living by Yahweh Shai. Us not living in the flesh no more because it's carnal. You know what I'm saying? Now we rehearse the righteous acts, but the activation of it just simply comes down to being spiritual, which is pushed to us through Yahweh Shai. So it's ultimately Yahweh Shai how we even activate the second covenant. Coming out of the first, which is by default, which we see happening now. So by default, we're leaving the first one. You see, for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of the eternal inheritance, which is we gotta wait for Yahushua to come back so we can be changed and the Lord can outright forgive all our sins, because we still live in a life of the curses because Yahushua hasn't come back and done that for us this year. So we still in these cursed bodies, like even if the Lord took the curses off of us, we still curse because we ain't even goddamn bodies. But that they go hand in hand, so it ain't we're still under the curses. It says, for where a testament is, if you will, it says, for a testament, for where a testament, no, we still under curses. It says, for where a testament is, there must also of necessity be the death of the testator. For a testament is of force after men are dead, otherwise it is. So that's basically it, man. Okay? Because this is kind of deep. I don't want to go too deep into that. Jeremiah 33 and 14. So it's through Yahushua how all of the First Testament represented Yahushua. You know, as far as, you know, Moses and the tables and all of that, it came down to, which is, in what way? What it come down to was how it's actually going to be reaped, the benefits of it. You know, which is set up in a way to where we wouldn't be able to do it, and we would realize that through Yahushua, or really because of Yahushua. So the whole time it was teaching, it was of Yahushua the whole time. You know? Really. That's why I say that the laws are schoolmaster to bring us unto Yahushua. Galatians the 3rd chapter. Jeremiah 33 and 14. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will perform that good thing which I have promised unto the house of Israel and to the house of Judah. And that's exactly the times we're in now. We're getting ready to come into. The Lord's about to perform that good thing. He's about to perform it. We know about it, which is the first part he needs us to it. That's one of the first steps, knowing about it. In those days, then he'll perform it. And it says, in those days, and at that time I will cause the branch of righteousness to grow up unto David, and he shall execute judgment and righteousness in the land. And that's dealing with Yahushua. So Yahushua is really responsible for this covenant being performed. Because when he comes back, that's when we get the law in our inward parts, because he's going to beam us up on the ship he's going to come back on. And that's going to be us changing, our bodies being changed, you know? So in those days, he's gonna put these fucking crackers in slavery, all these heathens. He's gonna make sure the World War III happen. It's gonna be crazy, man. We're gonna go to hell back home. No, we're gonna be perfect. We're gonna be decked out. We're gonna get everything our hearts ever desire. We're gonna have everything, man. Just to say the least. That's all of the second covenant. You know, it says, in those days shall Judah be saved, and Jerusalem shall dwell safely. And this is the name wherewith she shall be called, the Lord our righteousness. So this is when we saved. The salvation comes with the second covenant, which is a deal. So it's on contract. The Lord has to save us. So that's another thing that the second covenant consists of, us being saved. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashan Shah, David shall never want a man to sit upon the throne of the house of Israel, going into those kings. See, we're gonna have the throne of the house. We're gonna have the throne of David, man, through Yahweh Shah. That throne goes into authority, power, rule, dictatorship, everything. We're gonna have lordship. We're gonna literally be kings, man. You know? That's exactly it. Read the rest of this. I'm not gonna read all of this. But yeah, man. I'm gonna start at verse 26. And here it says, "Then will I cast away the seed of Jacob." So I'm gonna just start at this point. verse 24. It says, "Considerest thou not what this people have spoken, saying, the two families which the Lord has chosen, he hath even cast them off." People be saying that. Lord forsook the Israelites. They ain't about the Israelites no more. They turned on Jesus. They did. He came to his own received him not. No, the 2/3 niggas. Not everybody. It says, thus, and they still gonna receive the Lord at the end of the day. Thus they have despised my people. Y'all just haters. Y'all want us to not know who you are. That they shall be no more a nation before them. Thus saith the Lord, if my covenant be not with day and night, and if I have not appointed the ordinances of heaven and earth, then will I cast the seed of Jacob, or cast away the seed of Jacob, and David my servant. That'll never happen. So that I will not take any of his seed to be rulers over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For I will cause their captivity to return and have mercy on them. See? And what that means is it's going to be a hierarchy amongst Jacob. So those of David, meaning the house of David, the elect, they're going to rule over the rest of the Israelites. Not like rigor and stuff like that, because we can't do that. But it's going to be a hierarchy. It's going to be a level. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that's going into. They say Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and everybody on earth don't come. This doesn't encompass all the people. So it's not even talking about other people. It's just talking about Israel. Family. It's family business. So the Lord saying, if he ain't make the heaven and the earth, then ain't nobody, he's not going to end this captivity and have mercy on us, which once again is what the second covenant consists of, which we're clearly in the time of coming into. Got the blood, keeping the Passover. We here, man. We just close. The devil know he got a short time. That's it, man. Hebrews 10:16, this is the covenant that I will make with them after those days, says the Lord. I will put my laws into their hearts, and in their minds I will write them. And their sins and iniquities will I remember no more. It says, now where remission of these is, there is no more offering for sin. See? Anyway, the point was more so in 16. I've been going along, so that's the second covenant, man. That's something. We'll go ahead and get these last ones, and that'll be it. Benediction. Benediction is what? It's a blessing that's said at the end of the service when you look this word up. It says, now the God of peace that brought again from the dead our Lord Yahushua, that great shepherd of the sheep, through the blood of the everlasting covenant. See? That's how we get it, man. It's through the blood of Yahushua, man. So, and that happened. So the second covenant already is in the process of being performed. It's on its way. Once this first one is completely out the way, man, benediction. It says what? The utterance or bestowing of a blessing, especially at the end of a religious service. See that? That's it, man. So we get the blessing after the blood. That's why that Passover so serious, man. Okay, so yeah, that's basically it. I covered everything right here. I think I read it to this already. Yep. I'll read this. Romans 9, and I'll start at 1. I say the truth in Hamashiach. I lie not, my conscience also bears witness in the Holy Spirit. And I have great heaviness and continued sorrow in my heart. For I could wish that my servant were accursed from Hamashiach, from my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of God and the promises, of whose are the fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, on down to us, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Hamashiach came, who is over all, God bless forever. Amen. So there it is, man. not as though the word of the Most High had taken on effect, but they are not all Israel, which are of Israel. So yeah, we're gonna the 1/3 is going to be the hopefully the elect. The 1/3 start with 144,000 are going to be the ones to reap all the benefits of this second covenant once this first one is completely up, which we basically hit. And Lord willing to be us. 2/3 not gonna get it because they didn't take it the blood, they didn't do none of the things that the Lord said would be going on by those that he will have mercy on in America, which is by seeking him, weeping, repent, living in the spirit, circumcising their heart. They wouldn't have done that. Not all of them. Not all of the Israelites. So they're not even being looked at as Israelites then. They're being cut off. You know what I'm saying? But they'll come back as children. Either because they are of the seed of Abraham, the Ishmaelites. Y'all have nothing to do with this. Are they all children? But Isaac shall thy seed be called. So there it is. Man. So that's pretty much it. I've been going, Lord willing, it's only been 3 hours. And it's going to cut. So, Lord will. So, Lord willing, this is edifying. This is the first and second covenant. This is one of those topics, man. Like you see, you heard, it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful faith, man. And, definitely a lot in it. You know what I'm saying? So, fairly should be simple on summing them up, But as you can see, that's a disrespectful thing. But call Allah Yahweh, Ba'asmi Al-Shai, wa Hawa Kakadash. Until next time, Shalom.